Wow. Okay. This movie messed me up, man. It was in a good, but a very sad way. I watched Iron Claw in theaters with one of my friends just an hour or two before I wrote this. I wanted to get most of my thoughts down before they faded away, and that was certainly a theater experience I'll never forget. So, before we get any further, I just want to quickly credit the people behind this movie. It's directed by Sean Durkin, starring Zack Efron, Jeremy Allen White, and Holt McCallany. Now, let's get into it. Okay, Zac Efron. I don't know where that came from. I've seen a lot of his movies, from High School Musical to 17 Again to Hairspray, Neighbors, and We Are Your Friends. And you could always tell Zac Efron wasn't a bad actor. In fact, it seemed that he had some potential. But god damn, this was beautiful. This was something to write home about. The story is told from his perspective, which makes a whole lot of sense when you've seen the entire movie, but it also means he bears the brunt of this movie. I mean, he accomplishes his job as the protagonist and more. I was almost shocked at his performance. It is so heartbreaking and wholesome. I temporarily lived vicariously through him, and he put me on a ride that shattered me. I even turned to my buddy towards the end of the film and I said, Jesus Christ, Zac Efron's putting on the performance of a lifetime. And listen, I don't know how the academies work in terms of timeline and qualifications, but in my book, he is an easy nominee for Oscar for Best Actor. I really connected with his character. A plus performance. Now, a little backstory to let you know about what this movie is if you don't already know. So, Iron Claw is a film that tells about the history of a real life family that contributed monumentally to professional wrestling. There's a good amount of wrestling scenes, but that's not the main focus. Wrestling is merely a tool that they use to showcase the horrors that this family endured. I'm not going to spoil anything, but if and when you watch this movie, it is a movie at the core that is about a family that struggles through catastrophe. Throughout this journey, you learn about these characters, you care about them, and you see this chaotic and intense unraveling of very unfortunate events. I have watched a lot of movies, and even some of the great movies have large portions of the film that you think to yourself could have been cut down. You can probably all think of a movie that's great, but it has a few scenes that drag on or slow down a bit. Not this movie. I was hooked the whole time. I was hanging on every word and I was totally captured by the entire film. I can't even think of a single flaw. I mean, sure, there are elements of filmmaking that don't get their light in this movie, but it didn't need them to tell the story. For example, I just watched the movie Poor Things a few days ago, and the sound effects and music in that movie are taken to the highest level, with perfectly timed background noises and eerie tones that work its way in and out of the film. In that movie, the sound effects are just as important as the visuals or even the acting. But in Iron Claw, the sound effects don't have as much of a presence, but it didn't need it. Sure, it would have improved the film, but it wasn't essential. Another thing worth mentioning, which isn't necessarily a flaw, is that this is a very focused movie. It doesn't deviate from its goal. Some movies cover multiple themes and have multiple flavors. They might have drama, comedy, and mystery. And that style of movie might make it more palatable for the average moviegoer. But Iron Claw doesn't spread itself thin. It is dramatic and heart wrenching all the way through. So if the person watching isn't in the mood for that type of movie, they may not enjoy it as much or even see the movie for the greatness it achieved. Overall, I think this movie is fantastic. A home run. If you want a fun, funny, or feel good movie, don't watch this. But if you want a movie that will truly connect with you and tug on your heartstrings and make you feel something, then this is perfect. Iron Claw. It is an 8.6. I absolutely loved it. If you liked hearing what I had to say, please give this video a like. If you have something you would like to say about the movie, let me know down below in the comments. If you want to watch cool videos and help me out, you can subscribe. I post every week, so with that being said, see you on the next one.